Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of my F1 2021 My Team Career Mode for the 12th round of the championship. Today we are going to Japan, the home race for our engine supplier Honda, and kind of a home race for the team as well, of course. We have a Japanese named team, the Samurai Formula 1 team. Q1 though goes pretty well. We go 13th fastest in the first qualifying session. Marino Sato, our teammate, manages to get through as well at his home race, so that is good news for him and for the team. Both cars into Q2, which is good. The Alfa Romeos knocked out along with the Haas's and Williams cars as well. We move on into Q2 then, and this will be probably the key session in qualifying for us. We'll see what we can do. I'm not really expecting to get into Q3, but you never know. We might be able to do it. So we'll see what we can come away with. You can see through the first sector though, bit of a bad line through there, and we weren't really carrying the speed we potentially could have through the first Degner running wide. So this first lap in Q2 won't meet the mark, and we'll need to go for another one. But we'll complete it anyway just to set down a benchmark, and we'll see how it goes for the rest of the session. And it's always good to have that benchmark to see on the second lap how much we need to improve by as well. But through into the last sector now, and you can see got two wheels on the grass on the way into the Casio Triangle, and that cost us some time as we went deep into the corner. So plenty to improve on this first flying lap. So we go again on the second flyer. Took it a little bit more cautiously through the first corner, and actually slowed down probably a bit too much, to be honest. But by the time we get to the exit, we don't actually lose too much time, and through the rest of the S's, we actually begin to gain time on our first flyer with a bit of a better line through the S-curves and through the next few corners. Gakubank and Dunlop gaining time there as well. So the lap improving as we go around and through the middle sector now, through the Degners, getting through there well. And now as we head towards the hairpin, this will be another key place where we can gain some time. And as we run a little bit high off the apex there, but able to carry the momentum well, and we continue to gain time versus our first flying lap. So yeah, we're gaining a tenth and a half. So not a huge gain at the moment, but these little gains here and there are going to be potentially enough, because we're currently sitting in 11th position, so we don't need much in order to find our way into the top 10. So we'll see what we can do in the final sector, as we've set 2 green sectors so far. So improving all around as we head towards the Casio Triangle for the final time. And this time we get the car stopped nicely, and we navigate the final few corners, and we blast out of the triangle towards the finish line. We will improve on our time, and I think that time will be good enough to get into Q3. We'll only find out when the screen comes up after the session. Here it is, and we do get into Q3 safely. Unfortunately, Marino Sato not so lucky. He is knocked out down in 15th or 16th. Can't quite see on the screen at the moment. Sergio Perez tops the session for Red Bull. Max Verstappen, though, did not set a time. He is knocked out. So big disaster for Verstappen. The Aston Martin's knocked out as well, along with Yuki Tsunoda and Esteban Ocon. So there's one of each of the Honda-powered team cars in the top 10. One Red Bull car, one AlphaTauri, and one of our cars as well. So it's good for Honda at their home event. They have 3 of their cars being represented in the top 10. But yeah, I'm not sure what happened there with Verstappen. No time at all. Nothing on the race director either. So it's a bit of a mystery. I don't know what went wrong for him. Maybe he had some form of reliability issue during the session and couldn't set a time. But whatever the case is, that's going to shake things up in the championship. He's got a decent lead, but it could be the opportunity that Hamilton and Bottas need to close the gap. We move on to Q3, and Charles Leclerc grabs pole position. We're down in 9th. We couldn't improve on our time, so I didn't bother showing that lap. We did out-qualify Fernando Alonso. But yeah, there wasn't really too much to show for that session, so let's just get into the race and see what we can do there. Hopefully we can score some points at the team's home race. And there could also be some grid penalties that will push us further up the order at the start as well.
Welcome along then to the magnificent Suzuka International Circuit, a stone's throw away from Issa Bay in the beautiful Japanese countryside. What surprises lie in wait for us today in the Japanese Grand Prix? We're southwest of the city of Nagoya today at the unique figure-of-8 Suzuka circuit. 3.6 miles and 18 corners make up a lap here, with average speeds approaching 136 miles per hour. DRS will be available, of course, into the potential passing opportunity at turn 1, although the best place for overtaking will be through 130R and into the final chicane. Anthony Davidson also joins me in the commentary box today. Why don't we discuss McLaren? What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within that team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do, and that's definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and it's Valtteri Bottas that completes the front row. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Perez, the scientist, Fernando Alonso and Leclerc, Sainz, Stroll, Sato and Lando Norris, Giovinazzi, Raikkonen, Pierre Gasly and Mick Schumacher, Russell, Latifi, Esteban Ocon, they've taken a grid penalty, and Nikita Mazepin, Vettel, Tsunoda, Ricciardo and Max Verstappen completes the grid. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out. Then let's see who can prevail today.
This is our engine supplier's home Grand Prix. Let's give them a race worth watching.
So here we are on the grid then for the Japanese Grand Prix, and we've moved all the way up into 4th position, so we've gained 5 places just from the grid penalties for the other drivers. So that is a great start to proceedings here on race day, and that gives us a much better shot at points. Unfortunately, our teammate I think incurred some literally more than half the field probably incurred penalties. It's getting ridiculous at this point of the season. There's just penalties going everywhere, and qualifying is, well, it's not meaningless, but it's the starting grid is nothing like what qualifying is. So we could expect some crazy results towards the end of the season. It's going to be interesting. But anyway, back to talking about this race. The strategy is going to be a one-stop, softs to hards. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But now we go to the 5 red lights. And it's lights out, and away we go for the Japanese Grand Prix. Looks like a decent start for Hamilton. Perez getting away very well, though, on the run to the first corner. He's going to go to the outside. They're 3 wide into the first corner. Bottas grabs Hamilton, but Perez gets the lot of them and goes round the outside to take the lead of the Japanese Grand Prix. What a start from the Mexican, and he is now leading in the Honda-powered Red Bull car. They will be absolutely loving it in the grandstands here as Sergio Perez leads for the Japanese power unit supplier in Formula 1. We managed to hold on to 4th position off the start, dropping away from the leaders though, as you would expect. We've not got the same kind of performance that they do. Here's the start on board with Sergio Perez, and he just got an absolutely golden launch off the line. Was able to sweep around, and it was no competition for him. Who cares about the 20-meter disadvantage he had off the start? Maybe not quite that much, but whatever it was, it meant nothing to him. Valtteri Bottas got a great start. He would be thinking he's clear into the lead, and all of a sudden you can see the Honda Tribute liveried Red Bull car going around the outside, and Sergio Perez takes the lead. Hamilton on board with him now. You can hear in the background he just bogged down a little bit off the start, and that cost him not 1 but 2 places. But Sergio Perez with an absolutely superb start to this race. That is unbelievable. Meanwhile, we go on board with Max Verstappen. He started way down at the back. Ricciardo got a good start, and there's cars moving around all over the place there. That was started, I think, by one of the Aston Martins getting away badly, and Ricciardo having to take avoiding action, but Verstappen not able to gain any places off the start, and he sits down at the back of the order still. We go on board with Yuki Tsunoda. He got a really great start as well, and he was able to jump 2 places with some good reactions there. And Tsunoda's a driver I've been keeping an eye on this season. He's got very good, he's got a very high potential, but he's not really had the performance to match. So we'll see how he goes throughout the rest of the season. But he definitely is a driver with potential on his day, and moves like that off the start will get my attention, as he was able to gain places there. But we continue on, and we are now on lap 4 of the race, and we are defending from Charles Leclerc as he goes up the inside. We're going to try and hold the position around the outside of turn 1, and we do just that, and Charles Leclerc has to slot in behind once again as we hold on to 4th position for the time being. I don't know how long we can hold on to this because the Ferrari car is a lot faster. We can probably compete with the AlphaTauris and Aston Martins, but the Ferraris may be a bit out of reach as we have a bit of a moment on the exit of the Casio Triangle, and that's going to give Leclerc the opportunity to go blazing past us with little we can do about that. So Leclerc is now through. Can we make a move? Have a look around the outside, but we had to hit the brakes and make sure we didn't ram into the back of him there. That was a bit close for comfort, but Leclerc holds on, and we have to defend from the next group of cars behind. Fernando Alonso and Lance Stroll are behind. We can probably hold them off, I think. I think we're faster than the Alpines and Aston Martins, so I don't think that'll be an issue for us as we push on through this race. You can see another mistake into the Casio Triangle there, going a bit deep, but no issue for us. We're actually coming in on this lap because it is time for us to pit for our one and only stop on the 16th lap of the race. Now onto lap 17. Hard tyres go on the car, and we'll be spending the rest of the race on this compound.
Clear of the white line on the exit. We'll receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross over into the track.
So we continue then as we head around the first corner on these hard tyres. A little bit cold still, I think, on this compound, so need to get up to speed once again. That is very close there between Williams and a Haas. That's Mick Schumacher retiring off the road with a mechanical issue with his car, but you can see on the onboard with George Russell there, he was so close to smashing into the back of the Haas car there. Very lucky to get away with that.
3.8 seconds.
But we continue on, and you can see we're struggling a bit through the Degners there, and that's allowed Fernando Alonso up the inside. We will have the inside though for the hairpin, and we hold him off. But we're trying to actually hold off Fernando Alonso here because our teammate hasn't stopped yet, and as you can see, he comes out in front of us. So that was a bit of a plan I had going to try and gain Sato some more places in this race. I was holding up the cars behind, and Sato was able to jump a lot of them, and that will be a net gain for us in terms of the points for this race. We have lost out to some of the Ferrari and McLaren drivers, but we're never going to beat them anyway, so that's not really a huge concern for us, as we now have Max Verstappen behind us. So the Dutchman fighting his way back through the field. He's made good progress so far, so we'll see if that continues, but you can see it's very close. We have a moment there on the exit of turn 1, and Verstappen gets through as we are trying to regain control of the car. So that's easy passage for Verstappen there, and he can continue on his way. His next target is Marino Sato, so we'll see if he can catch him in the next couple of laps. It surely won't take him long. He's driving a Red Bull car, so he will have the pace over Sato, and indeed here he's going for the move around the outside, backs out of it, and Sato holds on this lap. Verstappen not able to get through, but very close nonetheless. We go to the next lap though, and Verstappen is going to be easily through here on the inside, and passes Marino Sato, no issue there, and he continues on his way, and will continue his charge through the field. We continue on then, and we've got Daniel Ricciardo behind us now, who has also been fighting his way through. Remember, he started I think just one position ahead of Verstappen, so Ricciardo's been charging it through the field at a similar rate, it seems, but we are currently sitting ahead of him on the same compound of tyres. We're both on the hards, so we may have a chance of holding him back, but I'm not too optimistic. We go on board with Ricciardo here, and as we make a mistake through the first Degner, Ricciardo sends it down the inside. We're able to hold on the outside line there, and Ricciardo gets a bad exit. We hold him off for a little bit longer. We continue on, and we actually do get away from Ricciardo as we go very deep into the Casio Triangle, and slow right up to make sure we don't get a corner cut warning there. We do that successfully and continue on our way. But yeah, we got away from Ricciardo for a little while, but I have a feeling he is not done with us yet, because as we continue on, our tyres are really going off. We can see we're defending very harshly there as we go way too late on the brakes into the first corner on the very tight line, but we just about hold on to the position as Ricardo was not able to capitalise on that little mistake there, and we continue to hold on to 9th position. But as we continue on, we're now getting blue flag for Valtteri Bottas and Sergio Perez. They're both gaining a lot right now. Sergio Perez through and into the race lead. Sergio Perez now leads the Japanese Grand Prix. Valtteri Bottas now dropping into 2nd. I don't know exactly what happened there, but I think Bottas got caught up behind us as we tried to get out of the way. He had looked to the inside, ended up lifting out of that, and Sergio Perez was able to arrow straight in between us and able to get through. It was a bit of a tricky situation because they were both coming on different sides of the car, so I opted to give Perez a bit more space because I actually lost sight of Bottas for a moment as he was actually fully alongside as I was looking backwards. So yeah, it has had a negative impact on Bottas' race, and now he's actually in the pit lane. So Valtteri Bottas carrying a bit of damage. I mean, you saw the onboard, there was no contact with us, so perhaps he already had that damage from a previous collision with maybe another backmarker or potentially with Perez at some point, I'm not sure, but whatever happened, Bottas has dropped out of the queue, and now Hamilton and Leclerc are trying to get past me as I'm having a bit of a moment off the edge of the track there. Hamilton and Leclerc do eventually get past, but we've made a real mess of the blue flags at the end of this one, but nonetheless, I don't think it's actually really had a huge effect on the race because I think Bottas was always going to come in for that pit stop, so I don't think that's a huge issue. But around the final couple of corners comes Sergio Perez. It's all come together for Honda, for Red Bull, and for him, and he is going to win the Japanese Grand Prix. Great drive, Sergio Perez, and that is a beautiful way to see off the last race that we will see in the tribute livery before Red Bull revert back to their usual colours. We're going to come around to finish just meters ahead of Lance Stroll and take 9th position.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
It's a double points finish for the team. Another one on the trot after we got double points, huge double points in Singapore. So it's a great result.
Brilliant stuff from Red Bull today. What a superb victory. Tell me, Ant, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
I think that smart tyre management on track and very smooth driving definitely assisted in their victory today. That combination meant they got the absolute maximum out of their tyres at all times.
The drivers are en route to the podium as we speak. What a fantastic win for the Red Bull team. They performed exceptionally today, keeping us firmly on the edge of our seats throughout the entirety of the race. Congratulations to everyone at the team.
So Sergio Perez wins the Japanese Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton finishes in 2nd position with Charles Leclerc in 3rd.
Let's see how the driver standings have changed. Despite the best efforts of our championship leader, that lead has taken a bit of a knock today. Some amazing talent out on the track today. But Anthony, who would you pick as your driver of the day?
Max Verstappen seemed to just effortlessly weave through the other drivers today without a care in the world. He was definitely my driver of choice.
It's time to check out the Constructors' standings. Red Bull take over as championship leaders. After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time? Be sure to join us again as we continue to bring you the latest excitement in Formula One.
Well, that's been another fairly successful race for the team. Both cars in the points at our engine supplier's home Grand Prix, so we have done a good job for them. Going from 4th to 9th, not really ideal, but if you look at the cars that got past us, we got Verstappen in the Red Bull, got past our teammate, of course, although that was kind of planned, as I mentioned, and as well as Ferraris and McLarens, who we're not really competing with this season. We'll try probably to take the fight to them next season. That will be the target, but yeah, for this season our aim is to beat Aston Martin and AlphaTauri. They're our biggest rivals at the moment, so we'll see what we can do against them. But yeah, for this race though, I think we did pretty much the maximum that we could realistically on the hards. I didn't really mention it at the time, but I had no pace on the hards. I mentioned I was trying to hold up Fernando Alonso as much as I could, so I lost a lot of time doing that. But even so, even when I was pushing, I had no pace on the hards. They just did not feel very nice around this circuit. The softs and mediums highs are much better around here, but the hards just didn't really, I don't know, it just gave me a lot of weird feelings, and I wasn't particularly happy on that compounded tyre. But yeah, they got us to the end of the race in the points, so that's all that matters. And yeah, that pretty much is all there was to our race. Was the opening stint where not much happened. We just had to fight Leclerc for a little while, but that was really it. And then in the second stint, holding up cars so our teammate could gain positions as he went long in the first stint. And then we had a good go at chasing down our teammate. I didn't show it too well in the video, but we did follow him for quite a while, but it wasn't enough in the end. And even though he was on a softer compounded tyre, my tyres seemed to go off faster, so maybe I should have tried the one-stop softs to mediums. That might have been better, but yeah, I didn't really look at it on the strategy screen too much, so that'll be something I need to improve on. I do that occasionally. I don't really experiment with the strategy enough, and it was costly this time, so that's something to take away from this one. Oh, there's the contact with Bottas. Okay, well now I know where that happened. Whoops. Oh well, sorry Bottas, that was my bad. Anyway, let's get to the interviews.
Great work out there today. Let's have your thoughts. Are you happy with your performance today?
Yes, I'm very happy. We got both cars in the points, so that's all I can really ask for.
Is there anything that you think gave you the edge over your rivals?
We played the team game today in order to help out our teammate.
Your R&D team has been working non-stop this season. Is this to catch up or stay ahead?
It's a bit of both, of course. We want to stay ahead of the cars behind and catch up to the teams that are a little bit faster than us. So yeah, it's very much a combination of the two.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you. So that brings an end to the Japanese Grand Prix weekend. We are continuing to stretch away from Esteban Ocon in our rivalry. Level 17. 17 points versus 9, so almost doubling his scores. In terms of our team acclaim, we're on level 13, just making more progress there. Sato is also close to leveling up to level 7 in his driver acclaim. We're level 9, and we get our sponsor objectives for this round, which bring in some extra money for us as well. And we're going to need to save up some money, so I'm not going to buy any more facility upgrades for the rest of the season because we need to afford a new driver, and I'm hoping to sign someone more expensive.
Our running costs are significantly less than the income we're pulling in. I suggest we start looking for opportunities to
spend that profit margin.
So for the activity timeline, apologies if you can hear the rain in the background, we're going to go for the 10 F1 eSport. Holy cow, that was thunder. Very loud. We're going to go for the Attend F1 Esports. We're going to go for the sponsor advertisement vehicle. We're going to go for the supplier HQ tour and the funded team events. I have to finish this video.
I have a problem regarding our driver. How do you want to handle this?
So Sato wants some time off to recharge, and it's up to us whether he gets that time. If we give it to him, his awareness will increase by 7 and racecraft will decrease by 5. If we decline, the inverse is true. His racecraft will increase by 7 and his awareness will reduce by 5. We're going to go for the awareness because we can't afford him making any mistakes, and everyone needs a break, so it's fair that he gets one.
Thanks for stepping in and helping handle that.
We had a durability development fail, the control electronics improved materials upgrade, so we're going to repurchase that one. We go through the timeline and we get the plank upgrade.
Some new developments to come through, but some of them have failed quality control. We'll need to tell the team what to redevelop via the R&D screen.
And I did tell a slight lie before, we do have one more facility upgrade that we're going to purchase, the fitness center upgrade in the personnel department, which will help Marino Sato with his focus, awareness, and racecraft. We go through the timeline again and get another department event, this one for the durability department.
It looks like our driver has an issue. We need you to step in here.
So this time Sato thinks we should invest more in our durability department. We can get a 10% discount on the MGU-H improved materials upgrade for the price of 50k, though the upgrade is already insanely cheap. But if we decline, that would be a significant knock to Sato's focus, and we can't afford that. So I'm going to spend the money, if anything, just to keep Sato focused on the job.
Thanks. I know these kinds of decisions can be challenging, but I think you made the right call.
So continuing through the timeline again, we got a bunch of stuff happening. We get the DRS activation mechanism upgrade, as well as 2 facility upgrades to the personnel department, the fitness center that we just did, and the powertrain build time that we did a while back. We now have an empty slot in the aero department to begin work on another aero upgrade, and we are going to go for the diffuser refined strake positions, and that is a minor rear downforce upgrade that will be on the car in time for the Brazilian Grand Prix. We get the control electronics improved materials upgrade that we just fixed a moment ago. And we begin work on the MGU-H improved materials upgrade that we now have a 100% discount on. Back to the timeline then, we get a chassis department event this time. So let's see what that
We've
is.
had the new parts come through the fabrication process. We'll have them with us for the next Grand Prix. How do you want us to deal with this one?
So apparently our facilities are very functional, and they could do with some more recreational activities within the factory, so we can have a fairly significant boost to chassis morale by spending some money on the facilities there. So we will do that.
Not an easy decision, but you handled it well. Thanks.
So continuing through the timeline once again, we get the tertiary wing flaps upgrade, a front downforce upgrade that is, and we will begin work on a drag reduction upgrade to the brake ducts. Unfortunately, the magnetic compound upgrade failed. That's an ERS upgrade, so we won't have that, and we don't even have the resource points to repurchase that one, so that will have to wait until next time. But that is all there is left to cover. It's been a bit of a lengthy outro, this one, from the end of the race to now, but oh well, that is that, and that is the end, finally. So thank you so much for sticking around all the way to the end. Feel free to give me some feedback in the comments. I would really appreciate it, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.